I also, in my research, did not come across much about your history. And I'm curious, what did you read or what did you experience that got you here? Because even if we look at just the symbolic interpretation of all these mythological sort of beings, I don't know any book that'll tell me that Kali is this ever flowing cosmic current. You are saying it. Is that thought original? Did you read it? Did you discover it? What happened?
It's all there. If you're artistic enough and scientific enough and have been around in life enough. When I came to Rishikesh, I didn't have much idea about all this. But when I started to meditate here, insights started to happen here. Gangaji, on the side of Gangaji, when you meditate really consistently and doing some process, you'll start to have insights. Because common sense, man. What I am saying is not at all mythology, it's common sense. So, all coded knowledge is there in mantras, in mythologies, but we do not know how to translate them into the psychological sense.
Agreed.
Ganesha, gum, the root of the tongue is touching when you say gum.
Right.
Hence is related with Mooladhara. Ra is connected with the solar plexus. Ra is tip of the tongue. It's a fire. Ra. Ga, earth. Kali, total. Ka, E, seventh chakra. So this you have to have kind of...
Very interesting.
Because these are also kind of secrets also. Once you know this, then you know that, for example, Hanuman is the prana. Your breath is the Hanuman. If you drop all the mythology and stories, monkey god and all that, why present is Ramdut? This movement is saying there is a Ram. That's why we are moving. That's what Ramdut is. Essentially, Hanuman and Ram are not two separate things. The movement of Ram is Hanuman. So this is Ram moving as Satya, as Prakhar.
Right.
That means the Hanuman.
Very interesting. I think this deserves a more detailed conversation.
Yes,
but
definitely.
again, this insight you're saying happened because you sat next to the Ganga and meditated?
But of course, I had a history then. I was with Osho also. I studied a lot of philosophies, art, sciences. Then once you are into right kind of environment, all information starts to first look like chaos. Then they start to become a mandala around you. Then you see, okay, it's all connected. Om, first sound. Out of that, for example, if you do Om, you will become more like a monk because there is no tongue engaged. So when you say Ram, it's the Vaishnav mantra. Means earth and the sky. Om has no tongue, no energy. So you will become more Viragi. But with Ram, you will stay in the middle. So out of these two movements came all the mantras. What does it mean? Ra is the minimal movement of first union. So that's why the Shri Ram Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahastra Nam Tatulyam Rama Nam Varanane. When Parvati asked that we cannot speak Vishnu's 1,000 names, so Shiva says you can just chant Ram. It is like chanting 1,000 names. What means 1,000 names? Means this present movement chant this Ram. This is everything. How do you think this Ram is happening? Whole cosmos is engaged to make me speak this Ram. So who is this which is saying Ram? Ram only, no? I am just an illusion in between. The day your Shraddha happens to this Ram which is moving, you are Hanuman. You are now working at the order of the now, command of the now. And out of this one movement, all the complex movement of mantras. So for example, if you chant Ram, it will guide you to which mantra you need according to your system. You will just come across it.
That's so interesting.
Because this is Guru working with you now. The Guru.
The capital T, capital G Guru.
The Guru, which is running the cosmos. It knows exactly what you need. But you have to tune with the now's music. It comes like a song, not a logic.
It comes in poetry.
Not even poetry. It comes as a dhun. A melody comes. You just somehow want to flow there. And that's why my singing helped. I learned classical, I learned painting, martial arts. I studied various Sastranam, Stotrams. Then each word, you see why they are saying this. Then you think about it. Acha. Then you understand other things. For example, this is wisdom mudra. Water Fire is the experience. Water is where the outside frequencies enter your blood. This is the wisdom mudra. Means no intellect. Direct experiencing is wisdom.
Right.
So this is the clues are there.
And so this, and you don't find, okay, tell me how you conceptualize Ganga for that matter in this case, because one could say this is no longer the Ganga of several hundred years ago, even several 10 years ago. The modern situation of Rishikesh is not that auspicious history that we thought it was, right? Does that not, like, is the present reality not an interference in the insight that arrives from meditating next to the Ganga?
For example, no vibration dies in the cosmos. Everything continues. So maybe this Ganga ji, it may be its frequency you can't feel because of the crowd, because of the rituals. But the why Ganga is powerful, millions of people became enlightened on its banks. They did meditations and practices. So the whole Ganga ji banks from Himalaya till down is charged. If you go in a right frequency, you will catch that frequency. But if you go to do a ritual and some, loudspeaker thing,
It won't work.
you have to be there, spend time there, be quiet there. You will start to notice many weird events happen, but beautiful ones. When you sit by Gangaji, not go for rafting. Come on.
Connecting with the animal. I call it connecting with the
sit
animal.
by the Gangaji,
Right.
and sometimes scary, sometimes beautiful, but things happen.
Right.
It sends you messages also.
I think there's a very unique thing happening right now. And I'll put it very simply. I think we are having the first or the second generation that is born in the screen world. The world is now occupied by these rectangular objects of existential dread. Okay? And it's very different because, you see, when Prakriti evolved into Purush, there was a friction. And we discussed that friction, nature, nurture, even up until now. And because Purush existed and the ability to imagine existed, there was a dissonance between my lived experience, as you're saying, the present moment, Ram, and this imagined. And therefore, there was this constant conflict that many spiritual teachers and masters and gurus have tried to resolve through many methods of meditation and philosophies. I think what is happening now is that between the X and the Y axis, which is real life and imaginary life, there's a third, which is the virtual life. And I feel like what that is doing, the way that is sucking prana, the speed at which it is distorting prana out of our lives
Very
is
right.
unprecedented.
Yes.
Unprecedented. And it's, even at 15 years ago when I was in school, it was a very trivial problem that parents would tell their kids, listen, beta, why are you spending all your time on your laptop? Now my parents are spending all their time scrolling reels. It is the most widespread disease we have, in my view, in the spiritual world. The most widespread. It is everybody without exception. I think the biggest problem with going to jail or sitting in a flight is the common experience of not having a screen. Right? And it's exactly that bad. And so I was just discussing also that we are introducing a Z-axis that is complicating everything by a factor of 3, not by a multiple of 3. And in that, I don't know what it looks like. Now that I contemplate having kids, now that my siblings are having kids, the number one concern is how do we deal with this screen epidemic? Because the virtual life runs faster than even the imaginary life in some cases, right? You can have had sex 1,000,000 times in the virtual world through pornography.
Yeah.
But you've never had it in real life, and your imagination is all borrowed from the virtual life. So it's not even organic imagination in that case. And so I wonder, how does one think about this?
It is, worst of all addictions is one addiction which is very rarely talked about, is addiction of thought. Because when there is a thought, you exist as a thinker. When there is no thought, no story, no drama, you don't exist. Krishnamurti said, thinker is the thought. There are two separate phenomena. So when I'm looking at a video on YouTube or anything, I am existing because of the drama, the one who is enjoying. But when you put it off, you stop to exist.
Right.
And that is scary. Till you're not used to not exist, just be quiet, and different kind of presence exists. That is one thing. And I think the big blow which is going to come, this is my creative imagination
Sure.
of Kalki, it will shut down the computers. Imagine what a swadhyaya will happen then. Self-examination people will go through. Suddenly you have nothing to project your mind on.
Right.
And you're left with yourself.
Right.
People panic worse than death when their phone is lost.
Yeah.
Doctor tells you have cancer, you'll die in 6 months. He'll say, where's my phone?
I need to tweet about it. Right.
So you see, that is how bad it is, because continuation which gives you a drama to your ego, that is what it is based on. So till you do not taste your original prana, feel of ras of you will be needing this. It is a kind of offshoot of our culture. We have
It's a
created-
microcosm within. Yes.
Artificial intelligence also is
A microcosm.
mind aspect of our fears. It will overtake us. As if you are not overtaken by your mind already.
Sure.
You're saying, oh, artificial intelligence will take us over. No. We are taken over anyway.
You are a slave of your mind already.
Yeah.
Now
and
your
you
mind is
created a master slave,
Right.
whom you are slave to.
Right,
So
right.
that's how it works. So this is kind of extreme of like our Kali Yuga. This is exactly what defines Kali Yuga. Everybody, Kali Yuga means living into a thought as reality. Everybody's suffering is that nobody suffers from life. People suffer from their own thoughts about life. Once this becomes clear, the net of Maya cancels. You realize it's all me. You know why some people die because of enlightenment? When you realize that it was always me making stories, telling myself. Nobody ever hurt me. Nobody did anything. There is no birth. No, it's all me. That is Kaivalya. Coming, realizing that I am the projection light in the projection room. There is nothing going on the screen. That is where you realize that you are giving energy to a thought. That's why it is becoming real.
Yeah, right.
I am giving energy to the internet. That's why it becomes my world. You can withdraw anytime.
And deal with the addiction withdrawals.
Yes.
Yeah.
That suffering, if you go through intentionally, then you don't need any other sadhana. Whole sadhana is make you go through suffering intentionally.
Right. You can use that addiction as a method of liberation. Right?
Yes.
Because when you start giving it up and the suffering is felt.
But be ready.
Yeah.
You will go through some deep
Hell.
shit.
Yeah.
Deep chaos. You will see, oh, I'm nothing. Fuck. I need something. It will burn you inside. And if you can stay with that burning, you will notice that burning, what tapa means. Everybody wants to change, but nobody is willing to burn. Any change comes through burning. What suffering does to you, it starts to burn you. That's why we call it suffering. It's changing you. When you really go through a suffering deeply, you will see after 1 week, you are a different person with fresh, like a child. You feel ready for life. Why? Because it took away your garbage. It burnt your garbage. All your arrogance disappeared. You realize with this pain, I was like a mouse. You lose your ego. You become humble again. You become pure energy again. And that is the state of Bhole. What we call Shiva, the innocent one. Like if you want to experience Shiva, look at children's eyes. That is Shiva looking right back at you. You don't need to find Shiva, just look around.
Right.
It's looking back at you.
I have only 2 more questions. One of them is, what are you doing here and where can someone find you if they had to from this conversation?
Best way to connect is on the Telegram, and please do not let it known that where I am, because I am keeping it kind of private.
Right.
Because unnecessary people comes. Guru ji aapke charnon mein baith rahe hain. Arey yaar. So what I'm doing here is he's kind of more like creating a space here where I am asking people to do creativity, meditation, being in jungle, learning a new organic lifestyle, which is neither material or spiritual. It's like embracing your energy and letting it express. That's what we need. Because mostly people go into spirituality to escape something. We go into any kind of pleasure to escape something. Here it is more about becoming creative and more participating with life. It's a mixture of devotion in a contemporary sense, not in a traditional Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, like brand kind of bhakti. No. For me, bhakti is totally engaging with what you're doing. That's the greatest worship you can do.
Sure.
And other is using your meditation as well, using your creativity as well, so you can be prosperous on the physical level, healthy on emotional level, and clear on the mind level. That is A-U-M. That's what Om means. Body, energy, mind, one organic unit.
ब्रदर, ये क्वेश्चंस और ये पॉडकास्ट सुन के आपके भी दिमाग के चक्षु खुले ना, सो subscribe to this so that you can watch our podcast in small bits and clips while you are busy and wasting your life away.